Hey guys, it's Andrew from Collective Intelligence, and today we're going to be taking a look at how to sequence and arrange leads. We're going to be using Ableton Live, but it'll apply to any DAW. Let's jump in and take a look. So here we are inside of Serum. Cool, so here we are inside of Ableton. And I've just got a kick and bass that I've popped in here with some hats. And these presets for the kick and bass are available on the Collective Intelligence website. This is from the Mudra preset pack. So links to that will be in the description. I'm going to be using some of the leads from that pack as well. So it's live and ready for you to download. So go check it out. So here is the first method of arranging leads. Now, this is what I would call just drawing it in by hand. Right, so I've gone ahead and I've drawn in my notes. I've been using a combination of 8th notes and 16th notes, but you can also get good results with 30-second notes as well. And this is typically for psychedelic trance. That's what this is mainly relevant to, but it'll work with other styles of music if you're looking to get freaky. So I've gone ahead and arranged this in, and it's basically just a call and response styled lead where it's going to call out. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4 main sections for the 4 bars that it's arranged, and they leave a little bit of space afterwards so that you could fill the gaps in with other responding leads. And that's the kind of science or the magic behind Psytrance, is there's often a lot of interplay between talking elements. So in order to go about making this yourself, you just have to experiment with starting to draw in the rhythm. So we'll just quickly do something with F. So we'll just go down an octave and we'll get the kick and bass and we'll drag it over here. And we'll just make another little sequence. So we could start again with a long note, and then we could do some quick jabs. Maybe do a longer one followed by another quick few jabs. I like this section, so I'll copy that and paste it here. Oopsie-daisy. Cool, so now I've got another sequence that then I can adjust my modulation with. So I can... So that's my filter modulation inside of the preset here. So inside of the preset pack that Adam at Mute Production has made, he's got all sorts of macro knobs mapped so you can constantly keep this sound interesting over time. And that's how I'd go about it. It's just simply kind of dropping notes in, moving them around, seeing what works, taking some out here and there, seeing whether you can get, the best, most hypnotizing rhythmic sequences out of the whole just MIDI note arrangement that you're doing. So that is like number 1 for the tips that you can utilize in your music. Number 2 would be using a rhythmic generator. And the principle is that I've just drawn a big, long, single legato note, and then I've thrown a Max for Live device in here called the Rhythmizer. And the Rhythmizer is made by a Psytrance artist named Jump Street. And these are available for download over at the Futurephonic website. So the link to that will also be in the video description. So you can get a Rhythmizer if you're an Ableton user, and you can set it up as the first piece of the chain, followed by Serum as our VST instrument. And so this is going to take that big long MIDI note and it's going to break it up into a whole bunch of different notes. And the resulting sound is this. Okay, so the lead that I'm using is made by myself, and this preset pack's also available on the Collective Intelligence website. It's Vibrations by Mind Mirror, and this is one of the lead sounds in there called Screecher. And you can see here we've got the MIDI coming in. It's getting broken up into 16ths, but then you're able to add probability that it will be a different note that's triggered. And you're also able to adjust the velocity and the length of the note that's being triggered. So if I pull that all the way in, they're all very short. Now they're always long. If I make it around 65, sometimes it's a little short, sometimes it's long, and I quite like that. But if I wanted to add in, occasionally there's going to be 8th rests, and if I pop that in, and sorry, I shouldn't use the word rests, there's going to be 8th notes or quarter notes played, which kind of act a little bit as rests because they do break up the rhythm, but it's not entirely a rest. So that is another great way to get lead ideas, because what you can do with this is a number of things. I could duplicate this. I could freeze the track. I could flatten the track. And now all of a sudden, I've got a whole bunch of gibberish that I can slice up in various lengths, and I can then arrange it so that it's not always constantly playing, but there's little pieces playing here or there. And I could do the exact same thing with a different sound in Serum, duplicate it again, freeze it, flatten it, and then I could arrange a different sound that chatters around outside this one. So I can start making very complex chattering leads that are always going to be in constant conversation with each other. So that would be another way that I could utilize that. I'm able to show you how I would combine idea number 1 and number 2. So what I did is I popped a utility in here, and if I show the automation, I had it automated so that there was no volume on this lead whilst that lead is playing. But then as soon as that lead stops, I let this lead come back out again, and the result is this. So what I could do there as well is I could duplicate that. I could let it play for, an extended period of time. And I could roll out the automation over an extended period of time as well. If I was just getting it to fit around that first lead we've arranged, I can freeze that and I can flatten it. And then I can go and I can listen to each little phrase. So I'll mute that one. So I like that one a lot, right? So this one is a great little sequence. What I can do to introduce it a little bit gentler is I could always put a little bit of fade on it, and I could also even fade it out a little bit, right? And if I don't like how dramatic that is, I can come back here and I can just put a gentle volume fade. Now, do I like this one? I do actually. It works very well. So I'm going to go ahead, put a little fade there. This one maybe we'll do a little bit gentler. And that just helps soften it a little bit so it's not quite jumping right in our face as soon as the sound comes in, right? So I can use volume fades just to really make that fit around. And what I could do as well is I could, okay, I've just deleted everything else. For example, I'd probably replace that one with another one that I had, but I've deleted them all now, so whatever. That's better. So that's how I'm using both those ideas together. Now, another idea that I quite like is the Morse Code concept, right? So the Morse Code concept is I can come up with a little sentence and I can put that into a Morse Code generator. And there's actually some Morse Code generators that will output MIDI. So if we jump over to this website, I'm going to show you something interesting. Okay, so I'll pop this link in the video description. But if you pause the video, you'll be able to read it there and type it into your browser. What I've done is I've just come to this website and I can write sup people. Sometimes I say that, and maybe I could put that into my track and people won't know. So what I will do is I'll go ahead and type it, press encode, and then here I'm able to select save MIDI. And here it is, the MIDI's been saved. I can navigate to where that is on my computer. And then once I've found it in my computer, I can drag it into Ableton and I can drop it on a MIDI track. And now I've got MIDI that's made up of Morse code saying sup people. Now it's not going to sound like it says sup people unless you hear in Morse code. But what I can do now is I can come to Serum, I can drop something in here, I could go ahead and I could open up another preset from the Mind Mirror pack, and we could go for compelled speech. That's always a winner. And if I put this on, drop it down, too low. So some of that sounds absolute trash, and it's a game of trial and error when you're doing this, but you can keep playing around until you get little phrases that inspire you, and you can chop stuff up, rearrange stuff. It's kind of like letting the computer create something, or letting the Morse code create something, and then you sort of derive meaning from it. You interpret what has been randomly generated, and you see whether you can hear little rhythms or phrases from it that you think could be valuable in the track. And of course, that is subjective to your taste. So this is just an idea for generating sequences. So go ahead and try that. And then finally, the one I've probably used so far the most in my own production is the concept of, again, using a big, long legato note, so a note that just constantly plays, and then, so that sounds like this. All right, it's another lead from the Mind Mirror pack called Power Dynamics. It's got some macros, so it changes over time. Right, and now I can put a rhythmic gator over top of that. In this case, I'm using Gatekeeper, which is developed by Polyverse and endorsed by Infected Mushroom. So if I turn this on, I get a very interesting gated pattern. So these are some ideas that I use. Now, obviously, all of this has been done with the root note in mind. So I'm just doing it with a rhythmic sequence, just using the root, which in this case is F. But if you start chucking in melodic sequences behind this gator, it starts sounding really cool as well. So play around with that. And I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing some of these tips. If you want to check out these Serum preset packs by Mute Production and by Mind Mirror, please jump over to the Collective Intelligence website and consider grabbing them. There's some sound demos and everything over there as well if you want to hear some of the other sounds that are in the packs. And until next time, guys, keep producing music, keep going hard, and I'll see you in another video.